We are still in section 8-3. We are dealing with volume of a cone. We're trying to find the volume of a cone. This is page 434. It is number 6. It is part of your homework. So it is in your book that you can look at. And we want to find the volume of the cone. Now, in this particular problem, it says, what is the volume of the cone in terms of pi? If the circumference of the base is 1.4 pi. So they're giving us the circumference of the base, which is 1.4 pi feet. We do not have the radius again. We need the radius. Now they did give us the height. The height is 2.7 feet. From the center of the base up to the point of the cone, that is the height. And so I need the radius. They did give me the circumference. The C means circumference. So I'm going to have to use the circumference formula. So C equals 2 pi r. That is the formula for finding the circumference. I'm going to use it to help me find the radius. Now, on this particular one, they gave me the circumference, so I'm going to plug that in, 1.4 pi, and they're leaving the pi symbol in there. So that means I'm going to leave the pi symbol over here on this side. And then we're looking for r. So instead of me plugging in 3.14, since they left the pi symbol here in the circumference, I'm going to leave my pi over there. So to get r by itself, I'm just going to divide then, since this is all multiplication, I'm going to divide by 2 pi. And I divide this side by 2 pi. And so what happens, those divide out, and that just leaves me on that side, r, and the pi's here divide out, and when you take 1.4 divided by 2, we end up with 0.7. So r ends up to equal 0.7, and that would be feet. So we use the circumference formula to help us find the radius. We needed the radius in order to help us to find the volume. So now I'm going to just write over here, I'm going to say r equals 0.7 feet. So that is my radius. I know what that is because I found it. And since I don't have that much room, I'm going to go ahead and erase this off. I'm going to erase that off, and then I can use that space to help me find the volume now. So now, what we always do, we write down the formula. So the volume for a cone is 1/3 times pi r squared, which that's the area of a circle, and since it has a circle base, times the height. In our formula, we needed the radius, which we found that, so I can plug that in. We needed the height, which we have that in our diagram, 2.7 feet. And in the problem, it wanted you to leave it in terms of pi, so we're going to leave our pi symbol in there. So I'm going to plug in the radius now, and I'm going to leave pi. The radius is 0.7. And then we got to square that. And then I'm going to plug in the height, which is 2.7. And so now I've got my radius plugged in. I've got my height plugged in. We're leaving pi in there because they want the answer in terms of pi. So now we go to simplify. This will be 1/3. And we still have the pi symbol. 0.7 times 0.7. That's going to give me 0.49. And then we have our height, which is 2.7. So I did the squaring of 0.7. We do that first. Get rid of your exponents. And now then, I'm going to go ahead then and get my numbers lined up. This is going to be 1/3 times the 0.49 times the 2.7. And then it is times pi. This is all multiplication. And so I've got my numbers now listed. 1/3 will go into 2.7. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch those numbers around. This would be 2.7, and then I'm going to the 0.49. I'm going to switch places. It's multiplication, so it doesn't matter the order. I put that over here by the 1/3 because 3 will go into that. 1/3 of 2.7 is going to be 0.9. And then now I can take it, and I got rid of my 1/3, and I don't have that fraction in there anymore. So 1/3 of 2.7, 3 went into 2.7, 0.9 times, and now we're going to multiply these two together, and that's going to give me then 0.441 pi. And it said to leave it in terms of pi, and so I'll just write out here feet cubed, and since it was to leave in terms of pi, we leave our pi symbol in our answer. And so the volume was 0.441 pi feet cubed. And so that is example number 6. It is one of your homework problems. And again, on each one of these you work, remember always write down the formula first. And again, make sure you put down the right formula. We are dealing with a cone, so volume of a cone, the formula, put it down, plug in your numbers. If they give you the circumference, you'll have to use the circumference formula to help you find the radius. And then once you get the radius, you can use it with the height and find the volume. So this is number 6.